The rich get rich, that's how it goes.
And welcome to the Grassroots Connection, where we provide the information you need to make an informed decision. And it's another beautiful day in Columbia, South Carolina. You can reach us at WOIC.com. That's WOIC.com. You enter that into your search engine or browser, and our homepage pops up. You can just scroll on down. You see Grassroots Connection. Tap on that. That brings you into the stream, brings you into the chat room, and there you can talk with your neighbors and list any URLs to bolster your argument. As long as it's not obscene or vulgar, we'll keep you in there. And if it gets out of hand, we do have moderators, and they will kick your butt out. So just be aware. All right? Today we have a special guest, and without any further delay, I want to get right into it with our guest. Hello, Cherri, are you there?
Hello, I am. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. And this is Cherri Foytlin. Now, I hope I pronounced that correctly.
You did.
Did I get it right?
Yes.
And a lot of my listeners have probably heard your impassioned speech on the 5th of September in Washington, D.C. It was the 5th or 6th. I can't remember.
It was the 6th.
It was the 6th.
That was me. I was there.
That was you. Well, I got to tell you, brought a lot of tears to people's eyes when they heard that speech. Very powerful.
Thank you.
How are things going down there? We're hearing reports that they're still spraying the core exit, and that this Mr. Fink guy is not really taking care of the responsibilities that BP said they would take care of.
Definitely, they're spraying. I get reports every day from people that have seen the planes. The fishermen a lot. The ones that are still working, because right now they're suspending contracts left and right because they're I don't know. They think that it's over. Yeah. They don't want to see the oil. They'll go down there, and our fishermen will see it, and they'll say, "Here's the oil right here." They'll call in the coordinates, and they'll tell the fishermen to stay.
Wow.
Fishermen will end up going somewhere else, and next thing you know, they come back and the oil's gone. Well, that's because while they were gone, an airplane came over and sprayed the core exit, and now it's at the bottom of the ocean floor. We were down there, down by Deer Island and Horn Island in Mississippi there not too long ago, and a good friend of mine, Holt, jumped in the water with a specimen jar and just reached down. Didn't even maybe 5 feet of water, and reached down across the bottom and picked up, and it was half sand and half oil. So there's oil all over the coast. It's up in the marshes. If you go, you can still see the sheen. You can definitely see tar balls. We were on that very same island, and there was tar balls. You couldn't step without tar balls the size of cow patties. Wow. All over the beach. Now, actually, the beach where the water comes in was fine because they cleaned that because people can see that.
Yeah.
It's the you go back about 20 feet into those estuaries, those very sensitive estuaries where all the bird nests are, and it was just packed full. And we were going to go back out there and clean that next week. But to tell you the truth, after we got in that water, we all got sick. And we were sick and down for another week. And someone had called it in, and finally they got out there and did a little work on it. We haven't had a chance to go back. But there's definitely still oil down here. That's the number one thing. They're misleading the public. They're just flat out lying to the public and telling them that they're not spraying anymore when we know there are, that there's not any oil out there when we know there is. We had a fish kill in Plaquemines Parish the other day that killed thousands upon thousands. It looked like an asphalt road, and wow. It was all kinds of different fish: stingray, starfish. Our oysters are all gone. The baby shrimp are all gone. That day that I was down there, we did not see one baby crab that was alive, and that's very concerning because this harvest, which is contaminated, the next harvest won't be there because all the little things, the young things, are dying off. So,
well, man. That's exactly what I heard, and it's disheartening to know that the administration thinks so little of our intelligence that they continue to lie and basically mislead the American people. I wanted to kind of touch on a few things. One, Dr. Ricky Ott has been doing a lot of really good work, from what I understand, in basically getting blood samples from people in the Gulf.
Right.
And reporting on the fact that their blood samples are coming up with benzene and ethylbenzene, all kinds of really toxic chemicals and metals in their blood. And we're not hearing this from the mainstream media at all. It appears to be a cover-up.
Well, to tell you the truth, this is something I've learned over the last 5 months, and that is that the mainstream media is owned by 4 corporations.
Yes.
And they're all entwined with each other.
Yes, they are.
And they get money from the banks, some of the banks that own BP. Now, BP has spent $93 million on advertising, and I used to think back a few months ago when I was a little more gullible that they were trying to protect their image. But now I understand that $93 million was to buy off the media because the media will not go against their advertisers. Everybody's broke now. Think about it. Who's advertising anymore except for the big corporations?
You got it right. I have no advertisers of my own, and one of the reasons is that I find people like you to come in and tell the truth, so they don't want any part of my deal. But don't let your apprehension cause you to bite your tongue. Tell the truth, and if you feel that that's what's going on, tell it like it is, you know?
Oh, definitely. I don't have a problem with that. I actually myself, I'm a reporter for a small independent paper here in Louisiana. And I write for my paper all the time. They don't have any problem printing my stuff because it's an independent paper. But I actually had sent some stuff out to some bigger papers. And I had one show up I'm trying to think of what the name of it was, but I think it was I want to say it was the New York Post or something like that. But it was a big paper, and I was so proud of myself because I was just like, oh, my gosh, that's a journalist's dream, to be printed in a big paper.
Yes.
Yeah. And I opened it up, and they had cut out. It was about everything that was going on down here, the moratorium and the environment, and they had cut out every single thing that had to do with the environment, the environmental impact, the wildlife, the health concerns from this core exit stuff. And I was like, what? I mean, I was like devastated because all it really talked about was the moratorium, which is important. I turned the page, and there's a full-page BP ad.
Yeah.
I talked on CNN, and I called out the president. This was several months ago. I go to CNN, and I pull up that video, and the very first thing that comes on is a commercial for BP.
That's exactly how it works. And, I'm streaming this show live right now, and I was on Ustream for quite a while, but they tended to, right after my show, put BP commercials up, and it became so annoying to me that I moved. I went to stick them. Now, I haven't caught them doing it, and if I catch them doing it, I'll have to find another platform. It's just that simple. But I understand totally where you're coming from with censorship and basically not placing any ads in certain publications just shuts them down, shuts their mouth.
Exactly.
Let me ask you some more generic questions before we really get into it. We've got about 5 minutes to our first break, and the first question, who is the Project Gulf Impact?
Okay, that would be Gavin Garrison is one of the names. I can't think of Matt's last name, but Matt, Alyssa Martinez. And from what I understand, I was with them last weekend, and from what I understand, Matt used to work for Fox News, I believe it was, one of the big networks for sure, out in California. And they told him not to come out here and film anymore. That if he did, they would let him go because it was a political issue and they didn't want any part of it.
Wow.
Well, he came anyway, and he
so
brought
glad.
his crew, and he ended up moving down here.
That's
so he's
fantastic.
a resident now. We've adopted him.
That is fantastic. And by the way, I got to say that I've seen some of their work, and they do great work.
Oh, they're incredible.
Yeah.
They are incredible. And one of the few real truth tellers that are out there that are able to.
Hello?
Most of us are just people running around with our camera, but they're able to produce quality documentary type stuff, and I'm so impressed with their skills. An amazing skill set of people, and they're one of them. I mean, they're great people.
Oh, great. And since we know who they are now, who is Coastal Heritage Society?
That's my friend Kendra Arneson, Vicki Manning, and Joni Hodges' group. And actually, Vicki and Joni had this going before Kendra stepped into it, before the oil spill. Because something you have to know about South Louisiana is we have a high poverty rate anyway.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. And so they had been doing this toy drive that they just started again, and they'd been doing this for many years before this whole oil spill came up. And then Kendra somehow hooked up with them. They had called her just to talk, and she was so impressed with them. They're totally volunteers. Like 100% of what you give goes to the Gulf, and that's what I like about them. They've been just having fundraisers, and they've been providing gift cards. And actually, to tell you the truth, they've helped out my family quite a bit during the time. My husband's an offshore oil worker, and this moratorium just knocked us down, me and my whole area. I don't think people understand the economic impact of this area that it's had, but we have food lines where people hand out food, where people are waiting around the corner. I haven't seen anything like this since the pictures of the Great Depression.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how bad it is.
Absolutely.
On the 4th of July, we had 1/10 of my entire town went without electricity because we don't have enough money to pay our bills. I've had a car taken, and I'm about ready to lose my house for the second time. I lost a house 4 years ago when I lived in, actually 5 now, when I lived in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was when, like I said on the tape, that was when the banks were getting bailed out and the people were getting bailed on.
That's right.
And they ended up taking that house. So we moved down here. This is where my husband was from. We moved down here and we went to work. And we worked damn hard with my kids and everything. I mean, my kids would mow lawns, and not that I'd tell them to, but I'd catch them putting money in the jar that we were saving. That's how hard we worked, and that's how devastating it's been to my family.
Wow.
Because what I've taught them was you work hard, you save up, you get something. 3 days after we signed on this brand new house, 3 days, the moratorium came. My husband has received he'll work in the shop maybe with no overtime, $10 an hour. And maybe he'll get a check for $800, maybe,
wow,
if we're lucky. And there's so many people out of work right now that there's so many people trying to work, trying to get into the shop, that he might not even get those 40 hours.
Wow. I really am glad you decided to come on the show, because I don't think people really understand the effect of the drilling moratorium and how it really does impoverish the people of the Gulf Coast area. Everyone kind of feels good because they feel like the president did something. He told them you can't drill anymore.
Let me tell you what the president did. The president came down here and told our people. Now, first of all, you have to understand the economy of South Louisiana. We are all wrapped in each other. The fishermen, maybe they work 3 months out of the year catching fish, catching shrimp, and the rest of the time they go back to the oil fields because that's where the money is. The oil field supports maybe 300 people on the rig, but thousands of more people back on land, because you have to feed those people, you have to launder their clothes, everything. And when they come in, they're going to buy food in your restaurant, they're going to buy food from the retail. So when they're not working, everything collapses.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
not just one thing. We have small businesses going under left and right.
Oh, yes, I'm
Okay?
sure. Now, before you go any further, we're
Sure.
headed into a commercial break, so I just wanted to make you aware of that. And I don't want you to get mid-story on us. I want my listeners to fully understand the situation and the gravity of the situation. So we have about 10 seconds. We'll be going into a commercial break. And I don't know, but are you online currently? And if you are you in our chat room?
No.
Please go to www.woic.com.